This video is brought to you by War Thunder.
Captain Sam, can you hear me? On your left.
Avengers! Assemble.
When you call for backup in real life, it may not always arrive, but if we're talking about superhero movies, you can bet your bottom dollar they'll be here faster than Taylor Swift's newly purchased Grammy.
I have come here to kick ass. Glad to have you back.
Yeah, I said what I said, and now I'm going to give you the top 25 times when reinforcements arrived in superhero movies.
Is that? Yep.
When Santa Claus fails you, there's always Tony Stark to come to the rescue. The Christmas protocol scene in Iron Man 3 has got to be one of the most badass reinforcements I've ever come across. Just look at the number of Iron Man suits on display. These are battle weapons that could easily sell for hundreds of millions of dollars on the market if such a thing could ever happen.
Oh, I'm sorry, they're only coded to me. What does that mean? I got you covered.
It just goes on to show the perks of being a genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
Big man in a suit of armor. Take that off. What are you?
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
But I also want to point out the fact that Tony called for these reinforcements by himself, and he's also made them all on his own. Bro doesn't need anyone else's help, he is the help.
All right, I think we got this. Send them all. I'm the best.
This is the typical GigaJad persona that internet noobs aspire to be, so it's really hard to ignore, no matter how much people may like to criticize the film. The battle that followed was an amazing finale to the Iron Man trilogy because it felt like a proper send-off to the man who made it all possible for the MCU. Of course, he made later appearances as well, but you get what I mean, don't you? Also, it was the perfect time for the suits to make their entrance as well, since Killian and his extremist dudes were getting a little bit too hot to handle.
Am I gonna be okay?
No. You're in a relationship with me. Everything will never be okay.
Everyone instantly became a fan of Spider-Man 2099, and rightly so. Miguel O'Hara is a grade A badass who literally saves a life while swinging into a scene. The way he comes to rescue Gwen from the Vulture with those epic webs was as epic of an entrance as anyone could give, and the fact that Spider-Woman also showed up soon after helped this become a proper example of backup arriving at the right time.
Is Miguel O'Hara. I lead an elite strike force dedicated.
Miguel's general attitude and vibe is so cold and neutral that you can almost feel the chills running down your spine, even if he's only on the screen and not in front of your eyes. And yes, I know that Spider-Woman also plays a crucial role in this scene, but Miguel overshadows her in every way, so he takes full credit. Never in my life did I think I'd need a vampire version of Spider-Man, but this scene right here changed my perspective. Bro may have gotten distracted in the middle of the fight, but his appearance was more than enough to cement his place on the list.
What about her?
No.
We can use the help.
No.
Is it because she called you Dark Garfield?
No.
Do you say anything but no?
No. Yes.
I can't wait to see how things turn out in part 2 of this Spider-Verse saga, because we most definitely need more Spider-Man 2099 content.
I'll take it from you.
Okay. Yourself up.
Why are you saying that?
Oh boy, Vin Diesel would have been licking his lips when he saw this scene because it's got the one thing that makes everything in this world better: family. On a serious note though, I don't think anyone was expecting to see the Shazam fam show up within the first movie itself, but I guess desperate times call for desperate measures.
Say my name.
No, not my name. No, say the name that I say to turn into this guy.
After Sivana and his sins put our man and his foster siblings on the spot, he really doesn't have much of a choice but to share his staff's powers. One collective call of Shazam later, and we get a whole army of superheroes ready for action, albeit without any previous experience.
You almost exploded me!
It was a pretty wholesome moment more than anything else because it showed the power of teamwork rather than following the typical trope of a one-man army. I also think it was kind of cool for each of them to take on their sins because it just makes for engaging content. Of course, we've got Shazam taking on the big bad Sivana, and the final battle really helped set this movie apart in its genre, which is probably why the film ended up being a decent success at the box office too. I mean, it even got a sequel, whereas Batman couldn't even get a solo film in the DCEU. Man, they really did my boy Bruce dirty, didn't they?
Enough games, boy. Wait, what? You're like a mile away from me right now. There's cars and trucks. All I see is mouth moving. I don't hear any. Only I. Oh, whatever.
Where else am I gonna get a view like this?
Glad you like the view, Romanoff. She's dusty, but she'll do.
Fury, you son of a...
Ooh, you kiss your mother with that mouth?
It's kind of hard to imagine that in an Avengers film, the reinforcements are for said Avengers. Of course, this is Nick Fury we're talking about here, so as he arrives in all his one-eyed glory and helicarrier to save all the residents of Sokovia, the sheer elation that people got from this scene was more than enough to establish it as a top-tier moment in Age of Ultron.
Sir, we have multiple bogies converging on our starboard flank.
Show them what we got.
Now this is gonna be a good story.
Sure, the real fun came in watching the fight scenes and Ultron's eventual demise, but you can't always get everything done on your own, which is why S.H.I.E.L.D. showing up was a massive boost. Oh yeah, and they also brought War Machine with them, so it's not like we only had Samuel L. Jackson to rely on.
Create a heat shield. I can supercharge the spire from below.
Something that I want to point out here is that the helicarrier doesn't randomly pop up out of nowhere. It's actually something that's explained in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show. Yeah, this was basically Disney Plus before Disney Plus became a thing. Also, I love how European Quicksilver and Captain America have that brief chat about S.H.I.E.L.D. and what it's supposed to be.
This is S.H.I.E.L.D.?
This is what S.H.I.E.L.D.'s supposed to be.
This is not so bad.
After all, if it wasn't for Nick and his agents, who knows how many lives would have been lost in this sequence.
You and Banner better not be playing hide the zucchini.
Not all of us can fly.
This is a scene that I don't think I've mentioned too often or even at all, but now's the time to shine a light on it because it's just too damn good. The whole aura of Bane is centered around the fact that he's a symbol of fear who gets his way due to the thoughts he instills in your head. However, once the cops know that Batman's alive and well, they're more than ready to take him on and neutralize his strongest weapon.
There's only one police in this town.
Open fire.
The fight between the police and Bane's army was on a whole other level, and the best part was seeing Matthew Modine show up in full uniform. He was scared, but Batman gave him hope, so it was simply fantastic stuff. Another reason why I love this scene is because the police now know that Batman is innocent, so when he shows up, they're not just cheering for his help, they're also cheering for him. It was truly a powerful moment, so I've got to give it to Christopher Nolan for charging everyone up with this sequence. I swear I felt like joining the police force myself after watching this in the cinema halls.
You think you're the only one who could learn the strength to escape.
I know reinforcements are supposed to include a lot of people coming in to save the day, but if I were to choose between 100 men and the freaking Hulk, then I think you know what I'm putting my money on. This is exactly what happens in the final battle of the Incredible Hulk as Abomination is destroying everything in its path. Bro took God knows how many bullets and said that he wanted a real fight.
Give me a real fight.
Luckily, the real fight came soon enough, albeit with a slight risk of falling to your demise. I don't care how Bruce Banner changes his form as long as we eventually get the angry green giant to flex his muscles and immeasurable strength. The way he punches his way out of the rubble was the perfect signalling of his arrival, and that's when everyone realized that backup had finally arrived. The final battle is a whole story in itself, but what I really feel took the cake here was the fact that everyone's hopes were shattered when Bruce failed to transform in the middle of his jump. It wasn't even meant to be hilarious or anything. They really wanted us to panic at that point, but soon enough, we got the closure we needed. Yeah, Mark Ruffalo's Hulk would never have been able to pull off such a scene. Do you want to enjoy the most comprehensive vehicle combat game ever made, and that too for free on PCs and consoles? Well, let me tell you about War Thunder. You can take command of over 2,500 tanks, planes, helicopters, and even ships from as many as 10 major nations. You can even choose your eras, right from the biplanes and armored cars of the 1920s to fighter jets and battle tanks of the 2020s. Trust me when I say the detailing is the absolute best I've ever seen. Everything right down to the fuel tanks, crew, and even the shells from your ammunition behave exactly how they would in the real world. The graphics and sound effects make you feel like you're right at the helm of the most powerful war machines of our time. They've got 3 modes of gameplay: arcade, simulator and realistic, all of which are customized as per player preferences, so you can enjoy optimization on a whole other level.
It was perfect. Perfect.
With a community of over 70 million players engaging in epic PvP battles with each other, you don't need to look any further than the breathtaking experience that is War Thunder. Just so you know, War Thunder is available for free on PC, PlayStation and Xbox. Also, if you're new or haven't played the game in 6 months, then sign up using my exclusive link in the description box and get yourselves a massive bonus pack.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
This includes the exclusive vehicle decorator, Eagle of Valor, 100,000 silver lions, and 7 days worth of premium access. This bonus is available for a limited time only, so just stop thinking and start your journey on War Thunder now.
You can't defeat me.
No, I know. But he can.
An enemy of my enemy is my friend? Well, that logic may apply to Thor over here, but I don't think Surtur felt the same way. This is one of those extremely rare moments where the villain ends up helping the hero, and that too, without even changing his perspective on anything. Bro wanted to destroy Asgard, and he got to do it, that too with the permission of its favourite god. Thor is definitely a badass, but he's no match for Hela as long as she's on her home planet. Even Get Help won't do the trick in such a situation.
Hey, let's do Get Help. We are not doing Get Help.
Get help! Please! My brother, he's dying! Get help!
Luckily, the God of Thunder tapped into his practical side and won, albeit at a massive cost. This is yet another instance of one dude being more than enough of a reinforcement, but I mean, he literally blows up a planet, so I don't think I have any right to complain about his qualifications. And of course, who can forget the meme this moment birthed? It's got to be one of the most iconic moments from the entire film. I was actually rooting for Hela because I have this weird thing for evil girl bosses, so you could say I had mixed feelings about the whole thing.
But we need to let him finish the job, otherwise... Don't stop, you moron!
You know, I don't have any idea why Rise of the Beast didn't do well at the box office. Sure, it's no masterpiece and it still cracked more than $400 million, but when you compare it to the other Transformer movies, it kind of falls short. Maybe it needed a second life like Bumblebee. After all, he became a totally different unit after he was revived. It's kind of odd to see the differences in power levels between the Autobots and Terracon robots between when they first met and this sequence, but I'm just going to put that down to a mental reawakening.
We gotta give her some cover! We'll clear the way! That's what I'm talking about!
Anyway, it's one thing to show up and save the day, and a whole other thing to do it while jumping off a jet and taking down opponents in the middle of the drop. He ended up getting rid of Nightbird, who's definitely not a pushover, but yeah, his arrival completely changed the dynamic of the battle, and we could actually see how important he really is to Optimus Prime. Bro really ended more enemies during his landing process than he did earlier when he was on the ground. Maybe he needs to change his car from a chopper or something like that. I can totally imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger having a peculiar kind of chat with B.
Say hello to my little friend! What the?
People keep saying Batman's afraid of bats, but I suppose Bro is the literal definition of what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I mean, just look at how he makes his escape here in Batman Begins with all those bats coming in at the very last minute to protect him from the law. It was a definitive Batman moment for me. For all his detective skills, fighting, prowess, gadgetry and stealth, this felt purely elemental and true to the character. Yeah, I know there's more to Bruce Wayne than his obsession for bats, but sometimes you gotta stick to your brand image. Plus, it's pretty badass if you can proudly say that your backup is a horde of hundreds of bats. I found it funny how the SWAT and police officers are all freaking out over the hordes of bats, while Batman's just walking through the whole thing unfazed without giving a damn. I know it's for an escape and not an actual fight, but hey, backup is backup at the end of the day. Also, is it just me or did Christian Bale's voice sound a lot better in this film than in either of the Dark Knight movies? He just felt so menacing and mysterious in this one.
I'll get my car.
I brought mine!
It's mine.
Reinforcements are good because they get you out of troublesome situations. In the case of Valkyrie and Thor though, she only rescues him for the purpose of making him her own hostage. I swear, this felt more like some kind of turf war where the God of Thunder was the item of contention. Seeing that ship blast all those alien dudes to pieces was a pretty cool way to make an entry. And I also like Valkyrie's nonchalance as she goes about brutally murdering people. Now, if this was an R-rated film, you can rest assured that this would have been one of the bloodiest baths in the history of bloodbath events. I've got to admit that Tessa Thompson has kind of fallen out of my favour recently, but she does look like a total boss here. Everything aside, I want to shout out that weird taser that keeps taking down Thor for no good reason. If it's so effective, then why don't they use a bigger version for Thanos? By this logic, I should have been expecting to see Aquaman drown in the Lost Kingdom. Well, technically speaking, the movie did kind of drown from a box office perspective, but let's not go there, shall we?
Thank you.
Fire! Our troops! Just do it!
Howdy, what are they firing at?
Something just entered the upper atmosphere.
It's not very hard to say that Brie Larson hasn't exactly made the splash as Captain Marvel in the MCU. Sure, her first movie made over $1 billion at the box office, but we should also note that it was sandwiched in between Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, both of which remain the franchise's highest earning flicks. However, she does make quite a killing in the aforementioned Endgame, where she totally owns Thanos' ship with an onslaught worthy of multiple replays.
Peter Parker. Hey, Peter Parker. You got something for me? Don't worry. She's got help.
It takes a special kind of skill to be the reinforcement to the reinforcement, which is why she gets my praise for doing something nice rather than just being another one of those poorly written girl bosses. I mean, the ship changes its focus from all of the Avengers on the battleground to the singular force that is Captain Marvel. The fact that Thanos named his ship Sanctuary feels kind of ironic, given how it eventually met a dystopian fate. I also like how they just made Doctor Strange hold off some water in this scene because they realised he's actually powerful enough to fight Thanos directly. That feels weird, but I'll allow it.
Hi, Spider-Man. Band practice, was it?
I just spoke about one MCU character breaking a ship, so here's another character saving one. I'll never be able to wrap my head around the ridiculous amount of money that Robert Downey Jr. made as Iron Man in a Spider-Man film. Bro made more in just 8 minutes of screen time than a Blumhouse movie's entire budget.
Boom, bam, bop, bada bop, boom, pow.
If we were to consider the fact that he ended up saving an entire ship full of people in the nick of time, I'd say it was well worth the investment. See, this is yet another scene where Tony Stark creates the backup that comes with him. The violation of Spider-Man that follows the rescue is actually more iconic, but I gotta focus on the reinforcements here, don't I? All those mini thrusters were more than enough to hold the ship in place and let Iron Man do his thing, which is a huge relief for Peter Parker, because the dude's PR team would have to face a lot of flack for his one tiny miscalculation. Gee, now I know why Asian parents aren't even satisfied with 98% on your test report. They can even use this scene now as an example when scolding their kids.
Yeah, Iron Man!
The Hulk served as the backup in my earlier entry, but in this case, he's the one who needs to be dealt with by the backup. Luckily for MCU fans, they've got a man who's got the money and the guts to take on the angry green giant. I'll still never know why Tony Stark named something as masculine as the Hulkbuster Veronica, but
Veronica, give me a hand.
hey, I'm no one to judge. What I do want to mention is that the arrival of Iron Man in the middle of his additional suit up was a whole other flex, especially if you consider the fact the Hulk was actually intent on killing whoever got in his way. I'd even go so far to say that he was as tough as Edward Norton's Hulk, which is saying a lot considering Mark Ruffalo's version has totally fallen out of favour with me.
I'm sorry.
I know everyone wants to talk about the legendary battle that follows, but I think that it's the moment when the Hulkbuster arrives that we truly get to admire Tony's brilliance. After all, it's not like anyone else would have been able to stop him.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
I might have made fun for the Aquaman sequel being a flop, but the first movie remains the highest earning DCEU flick, and it's going to remain that way because James Gunn has clearly got other intentions in mind. Now, the final battle is what I want to focus on, because at one point we can see that Ocean Master is gaining the upper hand, which is bad news for Atlantis. Enter Arthur Curry with an absolute beast of a creature that effortlessly changes the tide, pun very much intended there, within all of 1 business minute. I would have said that the Carathon had everyone pissing their pants, but the fight is happening underwater, so I'm not sure that would have made the environment very hygienic for everyone. Of course, I also have to mention the part where Aquaman actually puts his fish language abilities to use by having the opposition's own creatures turn against them. This has got to be the most prominent Uno reverse of all time. Also, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that Nicole Kidman's Atlanta actually survived a fight with the Carathon multiple times before Jason Momoa had to do it for her. That woman sure has guts of steel. Never would you imagine that someone as badass as the Wolverine would need backup, but here he is in a precarious situation with the fake Deadpool who's pretty much ready to take his life. That's when none other than freaking Sabretooth comes to the scene and saves Logan from a Ryan Reynolds who clearly wasn't landing the right roles. It's not just the fact that he smacked fake Deadpool away, he also holds onto Wolverine to ensure he doesn't fall to his demise. Honestly, I'm pretty sure that Logan would have been able to heal from such a high drop because he did survive a nuclear bomb during the war. Anyway, the reason why this is placed so high is because it's a completely unexpected savior. And the fight that follows is probably the most exciting scene from the whole movie, save for maybe when Wolverine blows up the chopper. On a side note, what happened to Liv Schreiber? Bro could have spearheaded so many action films on Netflix if he wanted to.
Unleash your power. Let's go!
I wanted to kick off my top 10 with a fiery entry, so here's Jean Grey with an all-out barbecue. Okay, let me just say there were levels to the reinforcements over here. First we had Charles Xavier trying to beat Apocalypse in his own mind world. Then we also had Magneto switching over to the light side and turning on the dude to awaken his true powers. However, they just weren't enough to take down the mutant god, so who are you gonna call? Ghostbusters! Nah.
Who you gonna call?
Okay, I mean Jean Grey. Well, she does end up doing what the Ghostbuster would do, getting rid of an undead being in front of a live audience, with the primary difference being complete incineration with a Phoenix Blast. Honestly, none of us thought that this was how the final battle would play out, but it did end up becoming one of the top moments from the otherwise lackluster offering, so it's all aces in my book. You just know Jean's in a mega zone when she's walking on air and screaming like an actual phoenix. You just know this scene is going to find its way here because it's one of those moments where you cheer for the very same dude you found annoying about an hour ago. Come on now, don't tell me you didn't find the supernova dude annoying, right? Well, at least bro did have it in him to allow himself to be proven wrong.
Prove me wrong.
So I'll give him his dues there. I think the moment where we see the Nova Corps making their entrance with such dominance was what elevated the Battle of Xandar. I mean, sure, it's a superhero movie, of course the good guys are going to win, but how exactly are you going to tilt the scale in their favour is what makes it or breaks it. I think this was a strong showcasing of unity as well, because the only person not too pleased with the developments here was Ronan, probably because he knew he was going to run out of screen time soon.
There are too many of them, Rocket!
Denarian Saul of the Nova Corps. Now might be a really good time for you to get angry.
That's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry.
I've been particularly harsh on Mark Ruffalo today, but he keeps finding his way onto my list, and that too, within my top 10. Well, I suppose the Hulk from the first few Avengers films still had a dangerous aura around him, so I shouldn't be mad at him. In this case, we actually get a boss transition right from a measly little man arriving on a broken down scooter as back up to him transforming into a beast capable of smacking down a massive Leviathan with just one punch. You must have been expecting a One Punch Man reference by now, but your boy isn't as predictable as you think, and is also maybe out of jokes to crack for this one, eh? However, we still can't ignore the fact that the Hulk made a massive difference to the Battle of New York, because there were no way the Avengers were going to take down a whole Chitauri army, that too with Iron Man at only a fraction of his power capacity.
And Hulk. Smash.
I'll always maintain that I'm not on board with Wanda and Vision as a couple. It's just plain wrong, and I don't get why people keep pushing for them. I mean, even someone like Steve Rogers comes to their rescue over here, even though he's supposed to be having the mentality of a World War II white boy. Anyway, with Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive closing in on WandaVision, it was great to see Captain America coming back to the big screen because, mind you, this is the first time we've seen him since Civil War. No, I'm not counting some stupid commercial from a Spider-Man movie as an official appearance, okay?
We all know what's right. We all know what's wrong.
Seeing Cap come out of the shadows as if his Batman was a class act, and now that I think about it, maybe Robert Pattinson did find his whole shadow monologue from this particular moment.
Let's get you on the jet.
Remember when I said the enemy of my enemy is my friend? Well, in this case, the son of my enemy is also my friend. Well, technically, Harry was always Peter's friend, but then he briefly became an enemy and then ended up sacrificing his life for him. Sheesh, that's one roller coaster of a ride, but at the end of the day, it was definitely worth the drama. Seeing Green Goblin Jr. coming to the rescue in Spider-Man 3 was easily one of the highlights of what I can now safely call an over-hated film. Everyone usually just points at Venom as the culprit behind this, but come on, isn't Harry helping Spidey out to defeat the very same guy? I think what did it for me was when he launched those goblin bombs into Sandman right before he lands the final blow on Spider-Man. It was a surreal moment, and the cheers from the audience in the film pretty much equal the cheers in the theaters as well. I bet you thought this was some kind of Marvel list, didn't you? Well, honestly speaking, it still mostly is, but at least I've got an epic DC scene in my top 5. Wonder Woman arriving in the nick of time to save Batman and Superman from the Doomsday Blast was absolutely perfect, because I honestly couldn't have thought of a better way to introduce the character. Okay, look, I'm sure Superman would have survived that blast, but Bruce Wayne would have been incinerated in less than 1 business second, so she does save a life. She also triggers what I believe is the most epic fight in the Snyderverse, because it's the holy trinity of the Justice League up against freaking Doomsday. Sure, I would have preferred his character design to have been a bit better, but I can't change the past. Unless I'm the Flash.
Not a man like you.
Let him be an example.
I've always maintained that Captain America is really no good when he has to fight an actual villain. It all started when we saw him fight Loki, who, let's face it, isn't exactly the strongest god in the MCU. Cap was getting his butt handed to him, with even Black Widow not getting a clear shot, but then we hear some classic AC/DC tunes, after which Tony drops by with a one-liner and a cannon blast to take down the God of Mischief and claim victory. It's typical for the King of Sass to make such an entrance, but he really came in at the right time, otherwise Chris Evans would have had to look for more acting jobs. Okay, this may have been Loki's plan all along, but I don't think he would have stood a chance against all that firepower Tony was packing. If every reinforcement can look this cool, then I'd probably have a huge problem choosing their spots.
Agent Romanoff, you miss me?
Imagine being so strong that even Wonder Woman and Aquaman combined don't match up to you. The Doomsday fight may have been the coolest, but the best backup scene is unquestionably Superman's arrival during the final battle of the Snyder Cut. His entrance completely took away from the seriousness of the fight because the Justice League was really struggling until he came along. Of course, we all know what Clark Kent is capable of, but for him to dominate Steppenwolf with such ease was really a shocker. I'll always prefer this version to the theatrical cut because we get the black suit and also a few more exciting shots between Kal-El and his opponent. I could could probably make a list of the top 25 times I mentioned the Thor Wakanda entry in my videos. I've no shame in admitting that either, because I'd do it all over again if I had to. If it's to tell me that I'd be foolish to mention Thor coming to the rescue in what is easily the largest battle in Avengers history at the time, then you can very well call me the stupidest fool of them all. There's no way I'm going to ignore such a deadly moment that's exhilarating, relieving, and impactful all at the same time. Technically, his backup also includes Rocket Raccoon and Teenage Groot, but come on now, who are we really kidding here? The God of Thunder did his thing and changed everything with his arrival. Well, maybe apart from the fact that he couldn't stop Thanos from snapping half the universe into extinction.
Bring me Thanos! On your left. Avengers!
Assemble.
If I would place any other entry at number 1, I'm sure you would have massacred me in the comments. There's no way anyone can beat the on your left moment when it comes to reinforcements, because it's not about 2 or 3 characters coming to lend a hand. We've got the whole damn army of each and every MCU character we love and cherish. I think it was an obvious choice to extend the appearances of all the characters, because it gave everyone room to cherish these characters returning. It eventually builds onto the impact of this sequence, has its own explanation in place, but oh man, seeing all these people coming back from the dead really put a smile on my face. See, you can use that line without sounding creepy.
No, give me that. You have the little one.
Huge shout out to today's sponsor, War Thunder, which once again is free to play on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. Don't forget to check out the link in my description for the exclusive vehicle decorator, Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days worth of premium access. Remember, this is a limited offer only, so get on it now. Hope you like the video. Please subscribe to the TV Region, and here's another video I know you're going to enjoy.